Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy, United People's TV. It's Tuesday. We've still got 6 days until United play. I'm going to run through all the news. We're going to run through all the internationals, Delict starting and finishing a game for the Netherlands last night. Same with Lenny Yoro. We're going to see Cunha and Casemiro in action tonight. But there's actually quite a few big stories to cover today. We're going to speak about confirmation on Benjamin Sesko's injury. We're going to have a discussion, probably do a poll as well. Like, what do you think will be the solution to Sesko being out for a month? We're also going to have a conversation about Semenyo. This is a player that we went after in the summer. Now I know that we signed Mbumo, so where does that leave? Anyway, it's going to be considered a market opportunity. We're going to have a discussion about it. And also, run through the latest other United news. Who's here from the mods and the members? Let's get on with today's show. Last international break. Why am I getting there? Emails on my watch. Good morning to you, Steph. Good morning to you, Maddie, as well. I can see you there. Oh, Maddie, we need to go down here. There we go. Maddie now has a spanner. Good morning to you. John, you're there as well. Carl, we've got Josh. I hate international breaks so much. I don't mind there being like international football and people enjoying it, like Troy Parrott and the hat trick for there, but it's the length of time between a game. Go away. Let alone going early Saturday to bloody Monday. And what is this the period of games where, who is it? Play Everton on Monday, then we play Crystal Palace at 12 p.m. on a Sunday. Really weird kickoff time, by the way. 12 p.m. on a Sunday. And then we go, isn't it 8 p.m. Monday, 8 p.m. Monday, 4:30 p.m. Sunday. You got a mad set of fixtures coming up. Anyway, let's get into the news. As always, please do get involved. Let me know where actually, it's not Friday, so don't let me know. You can let me know where you're watching from if you want. But please do get involved in the chat. I'll try and engage with as many of you as I possibly can. Look, it's a really good question down there from Frisch. I don't know. When are these names going to go from YouTube? At some point, they're going to randomly change back, and then it's going to piss me off because 2 weeks later, they're going to randomly change back again to usernames and nicknames. And YouTube completely ignoring my requests for it to not happen. It's totally out of my hands, and it just makes the experience worse. I don't know why they're doing it. So, let's talk about this, because I think this is a little bit of fun news to start the show. What team was that visited? Don't actually know. Anyway, some NBA team visiting the new Carrington, which is a little bit of a random photo to show you. But it's because the president of the Italian Basketball Federation, Gianni Bertucci, has said this. So the Manchester United are going to be launching a team for NBA Europe. He's saying if United, the most popular football team in the world, has already said yes, and he's basically saying that there's going to be NBA Europe, and United are going to be one of the founding teams. Now, that's pretty cool. If I was to ever find time to watch one American sport, I would choose NBA. I mean, I don't know how any Americans watching right now, first of all, get to bed. Second of all, how do you watch all the games out there? It's like 70, isn't it like 70, 80 games in a regular season? It's like one game every 3 days, and then you've got the off season. Is a playoff season including that? I don't quite know. Now, this, as I said, it's a little bit random, but you may or may not remember that United had a basketball team back in the 80s. We're gonna have a high dose of nostalgia for the next couple of minutes while I show you a bit of these. I think United had that team for what? A couple of years? Can't remember exactly. But anyway, look at this bad boy.
To the Granby Halls in Leicester for the Anglo-Scottish Cup final between Edinburgh and Manchester United. Simon Reed, incidentally, is away at the World Figure Skating Championships. We'll be here.
Strong set of glasses there.
Hearing him later in the week from Tokyo.
Anyway, stop all of it. I'm going to get shut down for copyright play. That's a shame. Old school. Really old. You know what? I think it might be a really cool little mini doc we could do on that 80s basketball team. That'd be wicked. I need to find me one of these bad boys. Either way, we might have seen the last of Sesko in a United football shirt, because he's going to go and join the the basketball team. Anyway, it's just a cool bit of news. And as far as generating revenue goes, as far as making Manchester United a more sustainable business, we've seen it all, right? All the cuts and all the brutal withdrawals and everything that's kind of happened at our football club. It's probably put United on a more sustainable footing by reducing the cost base, but it's been ugly to watch. This will be cool. Coming back in, NBA Europe launching, United being one of the founding teams, will bring in a new revenue stream that won't have really any effect on the football team. It's just a way, I suppose, to build the brand out. Now, Barcelona have got a basketball team, don't they? They've won for ages. And I think Real Madrid too. Mr. Smith, another way to get dynamic pricing modelling. If you want to go to the tickets that haven't been released for the team that doesn't exist yet, then yes, you could. If you really want to go down there, you could have a conversation about that. Yeah, John, I know it's a minority sport in the UK. Or it's a minority sport in Europe. I just think it's a cool idea. I'd be happy if they did that. Real Swift is saying, morning, Sam. Been a fan for over a year at the moment, in hospital, sick. Well, I hope you're feeling all right, mate. Well, you're probably not, because you're in hospital and you're sick. Let's be totally honest. Hopefully you get better. That's why you're in hospital. Your content's put a smile on my face this morning. Big up to you, dude. Big up to everybody. Tell you what was going on. I was having a conversation with Maddie and Alex earlier. We are prepping for the United People's TV Christmas Advent calendar. So it's my plan. Every single day in December, we'll do a giveaway. Now, it might be something like this, which is still here. You can still see that. It's number 3. 3 of 50. Certificate of authenticity on the back. Signed by Stan Chow himself. So that's one of them, right? But I want to do one every single day in December, and then building up to a big prize that we'll announce on Christmas Eve. It's going to take a lot of planning, but I'm looking forward to doing it. I think it'll be a really cool thing to do. It's my way of saying, I suppose, thank you to everybody, and thank you to this community. So I think that's going to be fun. We're going to get that organised. Someone down there saying, Sam, do you think that's another way of the club making revenue? That's exactly what I said. Right, let's move on. Okay, let's cover some actual news. I suppose a little bit of news about basketball team. De Ligt, finally back in the Dutch squad. Finally back in the starting 11. And they won 4-0. He won a penalty. I think it was a header that then hit the arm. But it will be a big moment for him. A really big moment. Like the career of De Ligt is a bit of a mad one, really. Captain of Ajax when he was, 18? Then he went to Juve, and then went to Bayern, and then went to United. He's played in 4 countries in the 4 biggest clubs, and he's only 26. And he's been out of that Dutch team for a good while. He was back in it, playing alongside Van Dijk. And as I said, that will mean a lot to him. It probably has been one of his big goals. And maybe this is... Do I think the same thing with De Ligt as I do Casemiro? I really do think a big driver for Casemiro this season is the World Cup. The age that Casemiro is at, everything that he has achieved, the World Cup has been out of his reach, and this is going to be his last opportunity. I think that's going to be driving him. I do probably think it will be... I don't think it will drive De Ligt in the same way, but maybe at the back of his mind. Maybe part of his motivation has been getting back in that Dutch squad, and he's done that. So Ronald Koeman really doesn't like him anyway. Yeah, he has been a complete beast this season. He's been fantastic. Daz, I agree with you down there. And long may it continue. He's said that he feels like he's in his prime. Physically, he looks like he's in his prime. He's even played wide centre-back against Chelsea, remember? And he looked equally as good there. Do I still think it? I think because of how much we need in midfield, I don't know whether we'll go big on a centre-back in the summer, but we may well sign one. Like we're getting linked with, and maybe it'll be a younger one like that, like Jeremy Jacquet from Rennes. Somebody who could play centre-back, wide centre-back, but he's 20. That could well happen. I don't quite know. Someone down there saying, let's just give Casemiro his props. Feel like we always need to mention something negative to compliment him. I haven't mentioned anything negative. I'm using, everybody needs goals in life, man. If you don't have something to aim and aspire towards, success and failure can't exist. Because if you don't have a target, then you can't succeed to meet it, and you can't fail if you don't meet it. I can only talk about how I work. I have no idea how Casemiro works. An elite level athlete, probably a little bit different than regular old me. But I think it always does help to have something to aspire towards. An aim. Anything in life, not just fitness related. Or not just life related. Anyway, good to see De Ligt enjoying himself. Lenny Yoro played another 90 minutes for the French under-21s, and they beat Faroe Islands, which everybody should be beating. But it's good to see that Yoro has got 2 90 minutes under his belt. What do you think about... Random question here. What do you think about Yoro's season so far? I don't think he's played bad at all. In fact, I think he's played good. But he has been taken out. I think we spoke about the fact that we feel Yoro being taken out of the team by Amram sometimes is more like a tactical decision than anything else. But yeah, just what's your take on it so far? And he sent a super chat to read that bad boy out. Said, if I win something, it's unlikely. I'll make sure you don't win it though. He's saying, please can you wrap it off and give the money to a children's charity? I really like that. That's really nice of you, dude. Well, if we ever do, maybe we'll do some raffles. We're going to do loads of stuff. All this community engagement stuff I've always wanted to do. We're about to start bloody doing it, finally. I haven't been lying this whole time. I've just not had the capacity to actually be able to do it. Alex is saying Yoro's improved and the season has gone on. Brian, you talking about Semenyo? We'll speak about him later. Isn't it funny, like a world of opinions in football? I'm only just putting these two out just because they're so contrasting. Arash, you're saying great season for him. Linton, immediately after, saying he has been average, to be honest. 2 polar ends. Lenny Yoro developed a lot last season, and he went into this season, and he was our first choice right-sided centre-back. And I still think, by some margin, he's our first choice right-sided centre-back. It is mad. He's only, 2 days ago that he turned 20? Looking forward to seeing how he continues to develop this season. I think that right-sided centre-back position is his unlock. But that's the international break over for these. De Ligt, Yoro, Bruno, and Bumo back at the club. So, do they fly back today? They fly back tomorrow. I'm guessing they fly back today. And we don't play until Monday. So, you remember for the game at Anfield, I think Cunha and Casemiro, well, they were given extra time off, but they came in and did an extra day's, recovery, I suppose, inside Carrington, rather than full training. But they only arrived back at Carrington, I think, on the Thursday. And we played at Anfield on the Sunday. And now we won. I'm not sure if we mentioned it. But it's good to see they're going to get plenty of rest. And we should be seeing these two in action again tonight for Brazil. Who are they playing? They're playing in France. Can't remember who they're playing. Anyway, some more minutes for both of those. But because they're only in France, it's not a long journey back. Someone down there saying, why not try Yoro at left centre-back? I think he played there last season, mainly because Mazraoui was playing really well at right-sided centre-back. And it was the best way to get all of them into the team. Yoro can play left-sided centre-back if you want him to. Tunisia, is that you're playing? Thank you very much, Swifter. So yeah, Brazil playing Tunisia tonight. You can see them in action. I just think Yoro's best and natural position is the right side of centre-back. Or, potentially in the future, as a central centre-back. I don't think that's impossible. We'll see. Right, let's get on to the headlines for today's show. There's 2 big ones, right? Number 1, we're speaking about Sesko. Now, when he went through against Spurs, you think he's going to... And then he went down holding his knee and you didn't know what was going on. It wasn't really too much contact. There's confirmation now that he's expected to miss a month with a knee injury. I'm going to read through the article and then we're going to have a conversation about what should United do? What is United's best option now for the next month? Right? Sesko is expected to be sidelined for around a month with a knee injury. Not available during the international break, we know that. While the timescale is dependent on rehab, it is anticipated he'll be sidelined for between 3 and 5 weeks. So if he's gone for between 3 and 5 weeks, have a quick look at this. What games does he miss? Quite a few. Because this is finally when the fixture calendar gets a little bit busy. So 1 week, 2 games. 2 weeks. 3 weeks, roughly to about there. So you're probably looking at these 5. Everton at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, Wolves away, and Bournemouth at home. It's bad news. Could it have been worse? Yeah, absolutely. Knee injuries, you know full well that could have been months and months. Now, I don't think that this leads Manchester United to panic in the window. Or panic at the disco. Ooh, 10 points. Carl saying, does that include the past 2 weeks of the international window? No, that's not what it says. Expected to be sidelined for between 3 and 5 weeks, rather than the 3 that we started with. So I'm going to put some options down here, right? Because what should United do? I'm going to put 4 options down here. You could play Xerxes centre forward. You could play Cunha centre forward, Mount left 10. You could, what else could you do? You could play Cunha centre forward. I suppose Bruno number 10. Or I'm just spitballing here ideas. Cunha centre forward and Xerxes left 10. There's 4 options there, right? What do you think is going to happen? John, you're saying buy a centre forward, Welbeck. I remember when we floated the idea of Welbeck. Was it this summer or is it the summer before? Can't remember. Before he signed the new contract. But there's a few options that United have. Now, on paper, I think a lot of you... I don't know, actually. I'll find out when I look at the answers to the poll. But I suspect that quite a few of you will want to see Xerxes given an opportunity. What is your take on Xerxes this season? Me and the lads were speaking about it last night. In the team. Like, yeah, what is your take on Xerxes? I think Xerxes came into pre-season and he looked like he had... Whatever plan he had been given during the off-season, he'd stuck to it. I think everybody came back into pre-season looking fitter than they ended the season, didn't they? Hasn't had that many opportunities, but if I'm being completely honest, like, I suppose it's only because I remember because I was at the Brighton game. But when he came off the bench against Brighton and Sesko had been playing up there, and every time the ball went towards you, you just couldn't do the same things with Xerxes that you were doing with Sesko. Like, no ball was sticking. The ball was coming back every time he went up to him. He wasn't able to be the target man, and he's a bloody big dude. I don't know how many minutes he's had. Not many is the answer. But I'm just interested to know, like, what's your take on Xerxes' season so far? Obviously, he's not played much. But is that because he's not good enough? Or simply because others have been ahead of him in the pecking order? Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Right, let's have a look at the poll first of all. So we've got 300 votes are in. Now, 43% of you are saying Xerxes centre forward. 32% of you are saying Cunha centre forward and Mount left 10. 18% are saying Cunha centre forward and Bruno left 10, and then only 8% are saying Cunha centre forward and Xerxes left 10. So right now it's Xerxes centre forward for the majority. So let's have a look. One, do you think it will definitely be him? Alex, you think Xerxes 9 with Cunha and Mount and Mbeumo running off him? But Linton saying with Sesko's injury gives Xerxes a chance. Curveball. Now, I don't think this is actually going to happen, but you could also argue that maybe that's an opportunity to give Cobby his chances. Because you could see, and that's why I put Bruno down as in left number 10 as an option, because you could see Cunha push up top, Bruno go into the left 10, and then Mainu go in alongside Casemiro as the central midfield pairing. So effectively, you just move Bruno up, or just push the other two further forward. But then I would argue you're then putting Bruno into his best position. I would argue you're taking Cunha slightly away from his best position. But then you're giving Cobby a chance. The poll needs Bruno up top. Bruno's a false 9. Yeah, I understand it. I think we used it a couple of times last season. Adam, you're saying just don't think the Xerxes fits properly. Quality player, but I think his position doesn't exist at United. I think the ideal position for Xerxes, in my mind anyway, is like a supporting striker where the team's quite compact and close together. So not huge open spaces. And the ability to play kind of quick, intricate football. Pass and move off each other and kind of move up the pitch together. Whereas United's quite a transitional team. And I actually think the Premier League is quite a transitional league now. A lot of it is about open spaces. A lot of it is about individual work, I know you feed off people, but not in the same way that you might I don't know if Serie A is the best comparison now. Yeah, I think that's kind of a fair comment from Adam. I don't think Xerxes in any way, shape or form is a bad footballer. I just question whether the way that United have gone and the way that United are playing is conducive to getting the best out of Xerxes. I don't know. Because we have had a little bit of a shift, and I do feel sorry for Xerxes because we wouldn't have signed him if we got Sesko last summer. But we didn't. So we signed Xerxes. And then we signed Sesko this summer, along with Mbeumo and Cunha. What else is saying down here? Allowing Mbeumo and Cunha running either side of him, but requires the wing-back sticking to the touchline, getting to the byline. It's going to be interesting. I suppose it's more interesting to see for the Everton game. Because we thought the January AFCON was going to be maybe an opportunity for Xerxes. That chance has come now. It's come early. And that's kind of what football's all about, really. You want to go the whole way back to when Martial pulled up in the warm-up against Midtjylland and a certain Rashford got the opportunity and scored 2 goals. Wouldn't have been planning for it, but he was prepped for it. Will Xerxes be prepped to take advantage of the opportunity if it comes to him? Well, he has to, really. I always do feel slightly sorry for fringe players. Because in situations like this, they're going to have to come in and absolutely smash it. They can't just have an average game. They've really got to smash it. Otherwise, someone else is going to get the opportunity. James saying Bruno doesn't have enough speed to be a 10. He plays better being a mid. That's probably one of the worst comments I've ever read. Bruno doesn't play better as a number 10. Come on. You were literally talking about the king creator. Football isn't always just about sprinting. Now, he is the crafter of chances. Might just mean that he drops a little bit deeper, gets either way. What would I like to see? I think I would like to see Bruno pushed into the 10 and Cunha put up front. But I know that takes away from what I feel is Cunha's best characteristic, which is ball running from deep, rather than being on the last man. In fact, you remember I said this quite a few times. If it ever gets to these situations, I'd actually rather probably play Mbeumo through the middle. Because he's the finisher. He's the one always making the last runs, but he's been playing so well at right-sided centre-back. Sorry, right-sided centre-back. Definitely not playing there. as the right-sided number 10 that I wouldn't want to take him out of position. Because you've got to think about that. Like, Sesko leaving, you don't really want to move everybody else out of position just because you don't want to move like Mbeumo out of his best position to number, and then maybe Cunha over or Bruno up to the. You want to move as, I suppose, as little as possible when your attack is. We're playing well in attack. We're scoring goals. Defensively, all right. Read some more comments out. Has Xerxes played on the international break? Nope. Don't remember the last time he was in the Dutch team. And you're saying if we can sell Xerxes in Jan and get someone in, we should do it. Do I think we'll sell Xerxes? I think if, like, we've read the report. Where was it from? I think it was from Fabrizio saying that Amorim really wanted to keep him. I don't think he does. I mean, he might want to keep him for squad depth because that's currently the position of Xerxes in the squad. Then that could very much change. Very much change. Over these next 5 games, Xerxes could come in, crush it, grab it, score 4 goals. Boom. That'd be great. Sasha saying, is a podcast still alive? We're now 1 week off there, Sasha. What was the international break? Yeah, podcast is coming back. We're recording tomorrow night. Be out on Thursday. Thursday and Monday is always a release time. Now that football's back, we're going to have plenty to talk about. I was saying down here. Can Cheeto be the trump card? I don't see. You could see Cheeto back involved in the first team matchday squads now because of Sesko's absence. That gives an opportunity for Amorim to bring him up. But he's only really. There's been plenty of other younger players who have trained more times with the first team this season than Cheeto. Like Shea Lacey, for example. I think Jim Thwaites has done it a couple more times too. Either way, we've had confirmation that Sesko's going to miss a month. It's bad news. Could have been worse news. I don't think this changes United's outlook on the January transfer window. I don't think all of a sudden we're now panicking and we want some form of a striker. I think regardless of what happened with Sesko, you'd probably be in that position. Because if I'm Xerxes, I'm pushing for an exit in January. Maybe dependent on what happens in these next 5 weeks. So in that sense, it's perfect for Xerxes. You know, that's Semenyo. We'll speak about him next. You know, one player's pain is another, an injury for one player is painful, but for another, it creates an opportunity. Nev, you're saying he deserves his chance. I'm sure he can get a few goals in his games, could benefit. Xerxes trains every single day with the team, so where's the problem? Who's mentioned problems? I don't think anybody has mentioned problems with Xerxes. I don't think anybody said Xerxes is a problem. I think the only thing that we've been mentioning in terms of problems is the setup of the team and how transitional Manchester United are playing and how working in that sort of open space system, big transitional spaces, it's not particularly suited to Xerxes and the way that he plays football. Rapid saying, couldn't Cunha just be a false 9 and drop deep, for example? Kane does it for Bayern. I mean, he could. Then we're playing as a false 9. Do I think that... I think Sesko's presence has made us a better team. I think we do hold a better shape up front and defenders have to be wary of marking. I think if you're just playing a false 9, I think you'll see Mbeumo get crowded out a lot more. I think you'll find his runs in behind significantly harder. You might make it so that United therefore have more of the ball because you're dropping deep and you're receiving the ball maybe just past the halfway line. But then when you turn and face, the defence will feel a bit safer because they don't have to mark Sesko and Mbeumo. I don't know. 6 of one and half a dozen, rather. Check the poll, 600 votes. 44% of you are saying Xerxes centre forward. My prediction would be Cunha centre forward and probably Mount going in as a left 10. I think on paper that feels like the most obvious one. Or playing the striker that you signed last summer as the alternative to Sesko. Again, I can understand that. Maurice, you're talking about a 4-4 diamond. I mean, you can waste your breath on that if you want. United aren't changing shape because we got an injury to Sesko. We're just shifting personnel. Although, if you look at our pressing shape, there are certain games, certain situations where we do press with not a 4-4-2 diamond, but with a 4-4-2 shape. What's going on down here? I feel we've got enough in and around the number 10. Focus got to be on midfield. Guessing you're talking about January, ain't? Well, speaking about January, segue. This is going to be a little bit of a lunchtime chat today for me. Semenyo. Do I think United will sign Semenyo in January? I'd be surprised. Do I think United will be certainly aware of these conversations? Yeah, I really, really do. Okay, I want to get your take on this Semenyo story, right? It came from yesterday from David Ornstein. That's why it's worthy of having a discussion. Saying Bournemouth may be powerless to prevent Semenyo's sale in January. The contract includes a £65 million release clause. Available to all clubs, but must be triggered by a set date so Bournemouth get time to replace. And it applies again in the summer, but at a lower price. Why'd they get him to sign that contract? I suppose it would probably still be above the 50 mil I think United offered in the summer. What's your take on this? Because United tried to sign him in the summer. It wasn't a case of maybe. No, we had a 50 mil bid. It got rejected. He stayed at Bournemouth. We ended up signing Mbeumo instead. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Brian, I think that's a phrase that quite a few people are going to be using. Market opportunity. Because I suppose he is. See, he's in that exact ballpark, isn't he? Like Eze, and Mbeumo. I mean, he's better than Elanga. Who else went in the summer for around about... I've forgotten someone. Madueke went to Arsenal. Was that 50 mil? Garnacho went to Chelsea. That was 42 mil. Chris, I think that they're the questions that you need to answer now. Where will he play? Do we really need Semenyo? Because when this conversation existed, same price as Cunha. Yep, there you go. But when these conversations existed in the summer, that was without Mbeumo as being part of those conversations. So the question would be, would that be the best use of money? Where exactly would he fit in the team? As I said, I'm going to run through all of that in a more condensed video at lunchtime today. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Mark, again, you're asking the same thing. Where does he fit? Dan, you're saying, do we really need him? Oh, Visser. Bloody hell, I forgot about Visser. Has he even played for Newcastle yet? That's mad. I'm seeing people suggesting, well, Semenyo, you can come in and play, left wing back. And I'm like, huh? You spending what? You're spending 65 mil. Signing probably one of the best wingers. Nah, not probably. One of the best wingers in the Premier League to play him at wing back. I suppose it kind of depends on whether or not you think we've got enough depth in attack. Do I think we have enough depth in attack? I think you could probably always do with a little bit more. Do I think there are other areas which need to be sorted first? Yep. Little random prediction. Hey, look, someone's going to sign Semenyo, right? Someone in the Prem is taking advantage of that because 65 mil for a player of Semenyo's quality. He was already quality last season, and he's just built on that. They really, I think, because of the rise in quality of the rest of the Premier League outside of the traditional top six, it feels like there's more of these players available than there was before. Like, you can talk about Cunha going to United. You can talk about Mbeumo going to United. You can talk about somebody who probably will be signing Semenyo in January for 65 mil. I think it's because the teams in and around the top six they've just got significantly better. They've got more money, and they're able to. Where did they get Semenyo from? I can't actually remember. But because of that, the quality of those players outside the top six, I think, is better than it was before. Someone down there saying, guess it'll be Liverpool or City. I mean, I doubt Liverpool very much. I don't know. They spent 400 mil, so they can probably find another 65. Sorry, it came out of nowhere. If we had a 500 mil transfer kitty, then hell yes. Visser only had a year left on his deal. Did he? Jeez. I just think it's going to be an interesting conversation to have at lunchtime. That's why I'm going to be having it. I'm going to go back and cover it in depth as to what the full story was of United's pursuit of Semenyo in the summer, because it was pretty strong. And if Bournemouth had accepted, we might never have signed Mbeumo. The ripple effect in football, right? Who knows? Semenyo could be tearing it up at United. But Mbeumo is. Witters, you're saying, depends on finances. Arush, you're saying Arsenal. Not impossible. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting conversation. I think I was supposed to do a video yesterday on the January window and midfielders. Just my overall opinion on kind of what I think is possible and what I think is likely. I was supposed to release that yesterday, but I got distracted. I was doing loads of other stuff. Unfortunately. So today, I might try and do a double drop. Get back into the swing of things, because there wasn't a video on Sunday and there wasn't a video on Monday, which I think is absolutely despicable behaviour. Sackable. So, we'll do a double drop today to make up for it. First one will probably be on Semenyo, and the second one will be on those midfielders. Give me one to watch. Now, of course, one that everyone's going to be watching in January is Elliot Anderson. Now, Ben Jacobs has reiterated multiple times that Anderson won't leave for 100 million plus. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And John Percy from the Telegraph is saying the complete and utter opposite. Could there be a release clause which is locked under NDA still, in the same way that there was for Morgan Gibbs-White? It's not impossible, but the Telegraph saying the complete opposite, right? Elliot Anderson's on course to become the next English player, the next £100 million plus English player, with Forest ready to adopt a hard stance. United and Newcastle are two clubs with strong interest. Forest will not consider a sale under any circumstance in the January window. I thought they paid 45 mil. Is that a spit? Forest sign Elliot Anderson. Bang, bang. Where is that? Oh, that's done there. Well, good. You've not included the fee. Fantastic, BBC. Oh, I thought it was 45 mil. They're saying 15 mil there. You know what's mad? Well, there's many mad things, but one thing that always makes me a little bit surprised is, like, Arsenal signed a player for over 100 mil. Liverpool have. City have. Chelsea have. Only United haven't. I'm not including Spurs in that. At some point, we're going to do it. And it's probably going to be a player that maybe some of you feel, is he really worth it? I suppose the debate will always... There will always be debates about those 100 mil plus players. But if you're looking at success stories, I think there have been quite a few success stories. Caicedo and Rice are probably going to be the two big ones. The 100 mil for City was Jack Grealish, wasn't it? It says it right there, actually. I did know that, though. I don't think Jack Grealish was a success. Who else? Enzo Fernandez. I don't think he's been as much of a success as Moises Caicedo is. I don't think he's been a bad signing. Are there any other ones I'm missing? Arsenal was Rice. City, Liverpool. Well, I mean, who haven't they signed? What was that? Verts, Andy Isaac this summer. Is there any other ones they signed for over 100 mil before that? Can't remember. They're not all been successes. And it must be a hard moniker to like play up to, man. Being worth 100 mil. Like PK down there saying Anderson's nowhere near worth 100 mil. And I think it's just... I've said this quite a few times. I don't know how to put the value on a football player anymore. I really have no idea. It used to feel quite simple to be able to put an accurate price on a player. But I really don't think it is anymore. And in truth, I suppose the value of a football player is quite similar to the value of an in-demand gig ticket. If more people want that ticket, supply and demand, it's going to crank up the price. The value of a player is intrinsically linked to the competition to sign him. United, right, and Mbeumo in the summer, let's be honest, we all got a bit annoyed. I actually thought our opening offer was really quite fair. Wasn't it 45 plus 5, 50 in total? But it went up to 65. It took quite a long time. But no one else came in for him because Mbeumo, early doors, was like, I want to join United. That's where I want to go. If that wasn't the case, then we know full well Arsenal and Newcastle and everyone would have been sniffing, bidding. It would have been a big bidding war, and Mbeumo would have been more than 65 mil. Because it would have been a bidding war. I've got no idea what 100 mil is worth anymore. I've got no idea what anything is worth anymore in football, if I'm being completely honest. The numbers, quite a while ago, the numbers sort of like, kind of go over your head now. Because the numbers are almost like fantastical. Not in a good way, but just like, that's not real, is it? Oh, no, it is. It's going to be another 100 mil plus player. And at the time, I think so many United, well, just a lot of football fans felt that no way was Declan Rice worth 100 mil plus. And I don't think there's one fan that would say that now. He 100% is worth 100 mil plus. I think he always was. Maybe that's Captain Hindsight saying that. Do I think right now Elliot Anderson is worth 100 mil? I think you're probably buying him at the peak of his... At the end of this season, do I think Elliot Anderson's ever going to be worth more than it's... Let's say he has a good World Cup with England as well. Maybe. I mean, he's only 22? How old is he? 21? Don't actually know. 23? How was Elliot Anderson? Should probably know this. Elliot Anderson. 23. I was just turned 23. Right. Anyway. We all know he's going to be 100 mil plus. We all know he's not going to leave in January. So we'll keep having the conversations about him. We'll keep following the news and what's being said and what's being reported. But I doubt he goes until the summer. And then, look, like, I covered the João Gomez and United full story last week. And again, this is a player, it was not as if like the rumours have randomly come out of nowhere. We were linked with moving for João Gomez last summer. And then again now. And you're talking about Elliot Anderson again, saying, I guess it's what he's worth to us that matters. If he secures European football, he's half paid for himself. I mean, I doubt very much that you could accurately describe whether or not a midfielder gets you European football or not. It's just whether it makes you a better team. It's kind of harder to decipher than a goalkeeper who keeps clean sheets or a striker who scores goals. We're not going to be signing him this season anyway, so we should hopefully be back in the Champions League by the time we do sign him if the rest of the season goes successfully. But João Gomez, right? It's coming out of Portugal, and again, it's almost like you could do like a whole bloody video maybe on market opportunities that exist. João Gomez, that just falls perfectly into that category. Do I think he's a bad midfielder? No. Not in any way, shape or form. Do I think he's a midfielder that Manchester United should go and spend 40, 45 mil-ish on in January to boost our midfield? No, I don't think I do. Do I think João Gomez could come into Manchester United and improve our midfield? Yes. But do I think that would be the prime target for United? I don't think it would be the prime target. That's what I mean. Like, in the short term, I think Gomez would improve Manchester United midfield for the second half of this season. But come the summer, I'd still want United to spend 100 mil plus on someone like Elliot Anderson, or whatever the price is going to be. I'd still want United to have a marquee midfield signing. Arguably two. So this is going to be very much in the, should United sign someone in January, even if it is not going to be maybe the exact target they want. That's going to be a debate that we all have. Now, United showed last January with pushing away from Matthias Tell, even though the fact that Horton was having an absolute poopy stinker season and we desperately needed some goals. We didn't go after anybody. But it actually put us in better stead. Well, it didn't put us in better stead for the rest of the season. We finished 15th and we lost the Europa League final. So we had a crap season, which probably could have been improved by signing said striker or attacker or goal scorer. But we didn't. We decided to go against what might be beneficial for the short term to hopefully make the long term a bit better. And it worked because we weren't stuck with an obligation for Tell in the summer. And we could go out and sign Cunha, Sesko and Mbumo. But yeah, 44 mil for João Gomez for me. Like, nah. I get it. I get the idea of market opportunities. That particularly doesn't strike me as a market opportunity in the same way that maybe even Antoine Semenyo at 65 mil. I think that's more of a market opportunity than João Gomez at 44. Ugarte replacement is Gomez. I think Ugarte does go in the summer. And you're saying different. Do you think we need to buy two midfielders considering we have Kobe and others? I'm looking at others in the academy. Yeah, I think we do need two midfielders. And maybe whether or not we need two midfielders depends on what goes on with Bruno. Maybe. Either way, I'm going to cover this in a little bit more detail in the lunchtime video, speaking about João Gomez, speaking about January, midfielders, realistic expectations, what I would prefer to do, and the strategy I think the club should have going forward. And maybe January could be one of the ones where we sign someone like, I don't know, Keith Schmidt. Or a younger midfielder. Would that be the right opportunity? I don't know. All these are conversations we're going to be having, and we will have. But yeah, headlines from today. Sesko's out for a month, and we did a poll, and the majority of you said that you think United should probably be playing Xerxes up front. By the way, the reason I've got that up is because that's the last time we played Everton at Old Trafford. We won 4-0. And Xerxes bagged 2. I wouldn't mind a repeat of that. I'll be honest. But we covered that. We spoke about Semenyo. We spoke about potentially. I'll go back to this. Don't get shut down for copyright.
Route was through the Northwest League competition, followed by victory over Leicester. And that brought them a... But who is destined to take this trophy? It's time that we met the teams with your match commentator for tonight, Mike Maddox.
Starting with
5'9", he's playing basketball.
Edinburgh.
I've got a chance.
Number 13, player, coach, commentator, he's done the lot, it's Alton Bird.
So by the way, this is United's old basketball team. So I was showing you that because you got the president of the, who was it? Italian Basketball Federation saying that United are going to launch one. Random, I know. But look, covered all that. I'm going to get on with the lunchtime video today. You can let me know what you think in the Discord. Get involved, as always. All right? Much love. And I think I might drop 2 videos today because I didn't do anything yesterday. So don't say I don't treat you well sometimes. Bad other times. Take it easy.